Long ago, in a peaceful African village surrounded by green farms and tall trees, there lived an old woman who was loved by everyone. Every planting season, her yam farm produced the biggest and healthiest yams in the village. The villagers admired her because she worked very hard and never allowed greed into her heart. Every morning before sunrise, the old woman carefully watered her crops and thanked the heavens for her blessings. These yams will feed many hungry mouths, so says this old woman. People believed her farm carried a special blessing because no matter how difficult the season became, her crops always grew beautifully. Carefully, the old woman bent down and pulled the giant yam from the soil. Suddenly, something mysterious happened. A soft golden light began shining from the yam. Tortoise quickly hid behind a tree in fear. Tortoise. Magic. The old woman smiled gently as though she already understood the yam's secret power. Good things only bring peace to honest hearts. But Tortoise ignored her words completely. All he could think about was stealing the yam. One hot afternoon, Tortoise slowly walked past the woman's farm while searching for food. Suddenly, he stopped moving. In front of him was the biggest yam he had ever seen in his entire life. His eyes widened with shock. Tortoise. Oh. What kind of yam is this? The yam was huge, almost as large as a drum. Instead of admiring the old woman's hard work, greed quickly filled Tortoise's heart. Tortoise. If I can get that yam for myself, I will never be hungry again. That night, darkness covered the village. The moon shined brightly above the quiet huts while everyone slept peacefully. But Tortoise was awake. Slowly, he crept through the bushes toward the old woman's farm. Tortoise. Nobody will see me tonight. His heart beat quickly with excitement. Instead of sleeping peacefully like the others, greed pushed him into trouble once again. Tortoise quietly entered the farm and carefully looked around. The village was completely silent. Not even the birds made a sound. Slowly, he lifted the giant yam onto his back. Tortoise. Ho ho ho. Soon this yam will belong to me alone. The yam was extremely heavy, but greed gave him strength. Step by step, he carried the magical yam back to his hut deep inside the forest. As soon as Tortoise dropped the yam onto the floor of his hut, something strange began happening. The yam suddenly started glowing brighter than before. Golden light filled every corner of the room. Tortoise stepped backward in fear. Tortoise. What kind of yam is this? The walls of the hut shook slightly. The air suddenly became warm and heavy. Suddenly, the yam began growing larger. And larger. And larger. Tortoise's eyes nearly jumped out of fear. Tortoise. Stop. Stop growing. But the magical yam continued expanding until it touched the roof of the hut. Tortoise tried pushing it away with all his strength. But nothing worked. Crack. The walls of the hut began breaking apart. Boom. The giant yam burst through the roof like an explosion. Pieces of wood flew everywhere. Tortoise screamed loudly in fear. Tortoise. My house. My beautiful house. Within moments, the entire hut collapsed around him. The loud noise woke the entire village. Animals rushed outside carrying lanterns and torches. Everyone gathered around the enormous yam in complete shock. Monkey. What is this? Rabbit. That yam is bigger than an elephant. Tortoise stood beside the destroyed hut trembling with embarrassment. Soon, the old woman slowly walked into the crowd. She calmly looked at the giant yam. Then she turned toward Tortoise. Old woman. Tortoise, greed always becomes too heavy to carry. The entire village became silent. Tortoise could not even lift his head. Shame filled his heart. Tortoise. I am sorry. For the first time in many days, Tortoise truly regretted his actions. Tortoise. I stole the yam because I wanted everything for myself. Old woman. A greedy heart never finds peace. The villagers watched quietly as Tortoise lowered his head in shame. Suddenly, the magical yam began shrinking slowly. The golden light faded peacefully into the night air. Little by little, the yam returned to its normal size. Villagers. Ooh! The strange magic had finally disappeared. The next morning, Tortoise worked hard to repair the damage he had caused. He helped rebuild the old woman's fence and cleaned the destroyed farm. Monkey. Maybe Tortoise is finally learning. For once, Tortoise walked without complaining. As the sun slowly disappeared behind the village trees, Tortoise sat quietly outside his rebuilt hut. He thought deeply about everything that had happened. Tortoise. Greed only brings trouble. And from that day forward, Tortoise slowly began trying to become a better person. Moral lesson. Greed may bring quick gain, but honesty brings peace.